What's up, guys? My name is Micah. This is Zach, and welcome to the Bearded Beginner. Today, we're at Carson's Brewery. All right, guys, today we're at Carson's Brewery here in Evansville, Indiana, and we have their very own craft beer master, Lewis. Thanks for coming out, Lewis.
Hey, thanks for having me, Micah.
Hey, he's going to be coming out, and he's going to be talking about some of their excellent craft beer selections.
All right, so a lot of our viewers are craft beer beginners. So, Lewis, what would be a good one for people to start with?
Well, that question lies to be the one with the beer holder, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can go in with the lighter beers if you want light. If you don't want the high ABV, I would recommend the Get Her Done. It's 4%. It's similar to the Budweiser's, as you will, the bigger craft beer, lighter selections, Coors Lights, all that, but has a more biscuit flavor, heavier flavor to it.
It's a really tasty Bud Light, in a sense. It's got kind of like that biscuit, more buttery, but it's that same simple flavor. So
A little more body to it. A lot of those light beers that just taste so thin. This one actually sits on your palate a little bit. You get more of that flavor there.
that's
Absolutely.
really good.
But it's still light enough if you're wanting to party and stuff and throw down some beers,
Yeah.
you can do that as well.
Definitely. So Get Her Done.
And then you mentioned ABV for our viewers. What is that?
Alcohol by volume, so that's measuring when, excuse me, your alcohol. So what you just had Get Her Done was 4% alcohol by volumes, how much alcohol you're intaking. So the Get Her Done, 7 on the IBU scale, very, very light in the bitterness. Your Killer Appeal, which is the Banana Blonde, the IBUs on that's 12. These are all fairly lighter ones. The Smoocher's a sour. It's going to be a little bit more bitter. That chemical reaction for the sourness and the bitterness. And then the Disciple is actually the base of the Get Her Done, but it was dry hopped at the end to give it that hoppy IPA finish. So it's at a 41 on the IBU scale.
So for our craft beer beginning viewers, what are your typical beers that are going to have that lower IBU and that lower ABV?
Some of the lighter ales, the Pilsners and stuff like that, like the Get Her Dones, just the cream ales. Some of the sours will be a little bit lighter as well. Typically gets into milk stouts will be your heavier ones, darker ones, higher in the ABVs. IPAs, as they get stronger with IBUs, some of the times their ABVs will pick up on that as well.
Okay.
You want to talk about the Smoocher?
Yeah, let's talk about the Smoocher a little bit.
Smoocher's a sour red ale. As I said, it's a 30 on the IBU scale. It's actually 5.5% alcohol by volume. I'm not really big in the sours right now. I'm still developing a palate for them. They're very different than your typical American wheats and stuff like that.
Seems like sour is the most rapidly evolving facet of craft brewing right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are jumping into it.
Yeah, and so that's one thing, guys. There might
Like we
be a
mentioned
beer once you start drinking more that you're just not gonna like, or it takes time to get used to. I'm still trying to get used to Imperial IPAs, some stouts and porters. My palate just really hasn't quite got there. It's kind of like when you drink coffee as a kid. You know, you put a lot of cream and sugar in it, and where it's really sweet. And if you drink something like that as you get older, it's too sweet. You know, and the darker your coffee starts to get. And that's the thing. You just got to keep trying different stuff. And again, he's a craft beer master, and he doesn't quite enjoy sours as much as I do. And I'm still, as you all, an intermediate beginner. And I really enjoy them. My girlfriend enjoys them. A lot of girls will enjoy sours just because they're not as bitter. They're more sweet and tart. So
A lot of them have a refreshing back taste to it as well. So it's
that was really good.
sour and a little bit sweet. Ours are a little bit heavier. The Smoocher's red sour ale, a little bit thicker than the lighter ones.
Yeah. So let's go into the Killer Appeal, which is a banana ale.
Yeah, so
So good.
this Killer Appeal is actually banana extract, a little bit of dolce in there as well. Give it
Okay.
a little caramel flavor as well. 12 on the IBU scale, and it's a 4% actually on the ABV. Still very light. It is similar to our honey blonde. It's actually the base of our harlot. What we do there is just mix in with our extract flavoring, give it that banana flavoring, and it is all natural, no preservatives or artificial flavoring in the extract. It's all
Oh, wow.
really extracted.
This
from
is
the
definitely going
banana.
to be a great summer beer for all you craft beer beginners. It is refreshing. It's light. It's got, like you said, that banana extract with, it's kind of like caramelized bananas in your beer. So when you're, laying by the pool or, playing some cornhole with your buddies outside and it's hot, I mean, this is going to be refreshing. It's really going to hit the spot. And it's going to, again, we're trying to step away from that Coors Light, that Bud Light. This is, more flavor. It's not girly just because it's banana. It's, I've been here several times, and a lot of people order, big guys, little guys, guys with big beards, guys with no beards. I mean, this is one of their top sellers, and it is killer. That's why it's called Killer Appeal. So let's talk about the Disciple.
Well, our Disciple is a session IPA, which is the cream base of our Get Her Done. We dry hop it at the end to give it more bitterness, to make it become more bitter. It's 41 on the IBU scale. It's a lighter IPA if you are wanting to journey. It's a good one to start out with. Very light. And it's not overpowering. A lot of times when I first started drinking IPAs, I hated them. They're too bitter. I was chewing on the hops. They weren't very good.
Yeah.
This is a great one. It's 4.5% ABV, 41 on the IBU again. It's a good one to journey away from, as you were saying.
Right.
And then it gets up the scale. You can gradually acquire a taste for more and more bitter beers.
When I started drinking craft beer, guys, I couldn't stand IPAs. They were so bitter. They were gross. But I kept trying them, and eventually my palate developed. And there was, a lot of different IPAs out there. Magic Hat has a great one called Low Key IPA, and it's exactly in the title. It's low key, it's refreshing, but it's still got that little bit of bitterness just to kind of give you that like tease of an IPA. But this one, guys, the scent on it is amazing, and it has a great flow through the tongue and the palate, and it finishes nice.
Speaking of your palate, this is one that's going to sit kind of farther back on there. Like, you get that bitterness at the back of your tongue, and this will kind of help you acclimate to something like that. It's not going to be overwhelming. It's not going to stay there forever. But
Right.
you start noticing, like, okay, if this is a hoppier beer, this is going to be sort of that flavor profile.
So a lot of you guys may be noticing that right before we drink our beers, we're smelling the beer, and there's a purpose for that, and Zach's going to go into that for us.
So, yeah, beer's a very sensory experience. Basically, the only thing you can't do with beer is hear it.
That's true.
I mean, just the color of it. That with the smell, a lot of times alone can tell you what kind of style it is, depending on like how much they roasted or how malty it is, how much they roasted everything. That might give you some sort of indication, but some of beers can be kind of sneaky. Like, it can be super light and incredibly bitter, or
Right, like
very
a lot
dark taste to it.
of IPAs that got that nice color to it, but
Like, I don't know, it's just like a wheat beer, and then it'll get you.
Right.
But,
So
yeah, it's you compare that the smell of it, like take a little sniff, and that's going to link up pretty well with what you're going to taste. So there's two senses. You can see it, and then kind of the feel of it. Sometimes they're really smooth. Sometimes they'll have like almost a thin taste to them. We were talking about that earlier with the lighter beers, or it could be like kind of velvety, dark. There's some malty beers that it's almost like drinking liquid bread.
that is true. Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff, but they all really link well together.
Well, guys, there you have it. Lewis, thank you so much for having us out today.
Ain't no problem, man.
Thank you.
If you haven't already, please like and subscribe the video and share with all your friends. Also, follow along on Instagram at The Bearded Beginner. We've got a lot of great stuff on there. Guys, as always, be bearded.